When in Rome, Don't is the third episode of the fourth season of the Doris Day Show. This is directed by Jerry London, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I talk about what happens in the episode. I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't dislike it. I don't know if I enjoyed it, but there were a couple of scenes that I did think were really brilliant. So there were definitely some good bits. Doris goes on an impromptu trip to Rome with Jackie, and while there, she meets a man who goes by a different name, and that becomes relevant because she starts to have a romantic encounter with him, and she goes to this cafe with him, and there are paintings on the wall, and she begins to insult the paintings. As one would when you're discussing art with a friend, you have opinions, and she's sharing these opinions. Granted, I would never share quite so bold an opinion on ostensibly a first date, but nevertheless, she is sharing these views, and she doesn't quite realise that there is a strong reason why her date is getting offended by what she's saying. And as I said, there are huge spoilers in this discussion, and it turns out that the person she's dating is actually the artist, Carlo Benedetti, and she doesn't realise this. And the scene in the cafe where she's saying all of these things about the paintings and Benedetti is sitting there listening to it all, I thought was very well done. And this actually ties in to today's world because Mr. Bennett actually wants Doris to do an interview with him, nobody realising that everybody is interacting with the same people. And Mr. Bennett goes to Rome, and which seems unnecessary, but he goes to Rome, and we have this amazing scene where he's in the phone booth, Doris is in the phone booth next to him, they don't see each other, and Doris is trying to call him back in San Francisco, not realising he is there, and he is trying to call Doris, not realising she's in front of him, and it's beautifully executed, very funny, very, very well done. And of course the big question is, will Doris find out who Benedetti is? And of course she does. And we have a delightful scene in an airport, on the plane. It wasn't as climactic as I wanted it to be. It was very much just, oh, that is you. And then they kiss. And I don't know, I'm trying to think if it's the first time Doris has had an on-screen kiss in the show. If not, it's certainly the most passionate. And Mr. Bennett's response was was fabulous. I really liked that. And what my favourite line in the entire episode is when Mr. Bennett and Jackie are sitting next to each other on the plane going home, and he asks her what's going on, and Jackie just replies, "My mother's dog was sick." As if that explains everything. That's the reason Doris ended up going to Rome, because Jackie's mother couldn't go, so Doris took the ticket. And I think that actually should have been the ending. I didn't love the scene after it. It wasn't bad as such. I just think Jackie's closing words should have been the last, because I rather enjoyed that bit. So there were definitely some really strong moments in When in Rome, Don't. I'd say it's not the best episode, and it wasn't brilliant throughout it. But it's an interesting enough concept, not badly executed. I liked it well enough. Season 4 is, well, it's still early days. I really like Jackie. I still don't necessarily have any strong feelings about Cyril Bennett, and I guess time will tell. I am missing Toby and Billy, but it hasn't been that many episodes, so I'm not really in a position to complain about that yet. We'll see how it goes. I am looking forward to watching more, and for now, I'd say I'm pretty happy with When in Rome, Don't.